So dear students, today we are going to talk about an interesting topic and little complicated, that is muscles of forearm. So first we shall do with the flexor muscles, that is the anterior compartment of forearm, and where we can divide the forearm muscles as superficial flexors and deep flexors. Superficial flexors, there are 6 superficial flexors in forearm. So here is the picture to show the most superficial flexors. So first one is the brachioradialis, which is not shown in this picture. The other muscles are shown, that is pronator teres. Next is the FCR, that is flexor carpi radialis. Flexor carpi radialis. And then palmaris longus. This muscle which is splitting into aponeurosis is. The next muscle is the flexor carpi ulnaris. So this last muscle is flexor carpi ulnaris. Then flexor digitorum superficialis, which I will show in the next picture. So these 4 muscles you can remember as PF, PF in order. In this way, PF, PF. So the first is the pronator teres. So the short muscle here is the pronator teres, which is pierced by the median nerve. So it is supplied by the median nerve. Then flexor carpi radialis. So it is going on the lateral most side is the flexor carpi radialis, which is also supplied by the median nerve. Next, palmaris longus, supplied by the median nerve. Flexor carpi ulnaris, that is the one which is exceptional here, which is supplied by ulnar nerve. So flexor carpi ulnaris is supplied by ulnar nerve. So rest all muscles are supplied by median nerve here. Flexor digitorum superficialis is also supplied by the median nerve. So the median nerve is considered as nerve of anterior compartment of forearm because it supplies most of the muscles. One muscle, that is brachioradialis, which I told initially, it is supplied by the radial nerve. So first muscle which we are going to discuss is about brachioradialis. It doesn't cross the wrist joint, so it doesn't make any movements in the wrist joint. Brachioradialis main action is to flexion at the elbow, especially in mid-prone position. So to strengthen the brachioradialis, we have to keep in mid-prone position. Neither pronation nor supination, so it is called mid-prone position. In mid-prone position, flexion at the elbow is caused by brachioradialis muscle. So it is the lateral most muscle which gets origin from above, from the humerus, and it runs downwards and gets inserted to the radial styloid process. It gets inserted to the radial styloid process. It doesn't cross the wrist joint. So that is about the brachioradialis. Brachioradialis is the only forearm muscle which is innervated by radial nerve. So the nerve supply is by radial nerve, and this unique radial nerve innervation is due to the fact that although functionally it is a flexor muscle, so it is a flexor brachioradialis, but embryologically it is derived from the extensor musculature, and all the forearm extensors are innervated by the radial nerve. The next muscle which we are going to discuss is the pronator teres. So this is pronator teres muscle, which helps in pronation at superior radial ulnar joint. It is a short muscle. So we can see it is getting origin from the medial epicondyle of humerus. This is medial epicondyle along with the other muscles. So medial epicondyle is called as common flexor origin because most of the superficial muscles in the forearm gets origin from medial epicondyle of humerus. And below that one more head we can see which gets origin from the upper end of ulna here, which is called ulnar head. So both the heads are separated by the median nerve. So the median nerve traverses through between these two heads to enter into the forearm to supply all the muscles in the forearm. That is most of the muscles in the forearm. Action of pronator teres is pronation of forearm and flexion at the elbow. Because it is crossing the elbow, it also helps in the flexion of the elbow joint. Okay, next about the flexor carpi radialis muscle. Here also it gets origin from common flexor origin, that is the medial epicondyle of the humerus, and inserted to the base of second and third metacarpal bones. The first one is the one which is to the thumb is the first metacarpal, second and third. So we can see it gets inserted to the base of second and third, and it is innervated by the median nerve. And action of flexor carpi radialis is for the flexion at the wrist joint. It helps in the flexion, and also not only the flexion, it helps in the abduction, means moving away from the midline in supinated position, this one. So this is called abduction at the wrist. So that is about flexor carpi radialis muscle. The next muscle, the most superficial muscle, having a short belly and a long tendon, is palmaris longus. Palmaris longus is getting degenerated, and few of the individuals, that is in new generation, the palmaris longus may be completely absent in the forearm. So it is a rudimentary muscle, doesn't have a great function, but it is anterior compartment, so it helps in the flexion of wrist. So this is palmaris longus muscle, which is shown. It also gets origin from common flexor origin, that is medial epicondyle of the humerus, and we can see it splits to form like an aponeurosis, and further it continues into the aponeurosis in the forearm also anteriorly, and we can see the aponeurosis is inserted to the second, third, fourth metacarpal. So second, third, fourth, base of second, third, fourth metacarpal, and continues with the palmar aponeurosis, and it is supplied by median nerve. So palmaris longus is absent in 10% of individuals. So it is getting rudimentary, and in future it may be absent in most of the individuals. The next muscle is the flexor carpi ulnaris. Flexor carpi ulnaris is on the ulnar side. So most medial side is flexor carpi ulnaris muscle, and you can see it gets origin from common flexor origin, and it also gets origin from the upper part of the ulna, and it is innervated by the ulnar nerve. That is the unique thing about it. So it is supplied by the ulnar nerve, and it helps in the flexion at the wrist joint, and it helps in adduction of the wrist towards the midline. So it helps in adduction of the wrist joint, opposite to flexor carpi radialis. Radialis will help in abduction of the wrist joint. Flexor carpi ulnaris will help in adduction of the wrist joint. The next muscle is the flexor digitorum superficialis muscle. The flexor digitorum superficialis, we can see it gets origin from common flexor origin, and it splits into 4 tendons. Just before crossing the wrist joint, it splits into 4 tendons, and each tendon we can see it splits into 2 twigs, and these 2 slips, they get inserted to the base of second phalanx. So second phalanx, and so that is the reason it gets inserted to the base of second phalanx of the second finger, that is to the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and the little finger except the thumb. So it is innervated by the median nerve, and as it is inserted till here, its action won't affect the distal interphalangeal joint. So it helps in the flexion of proximal interphalangeal joints and also metacarpal, because it is crossing the metacarpophalangeal joints. It helps in the flexion of metacarpophalangeal joints, and it also helps in the flexion of wrist joint because it crosses the wrist joint. So that is the function about flexor digitorum superficialis. Deeper muscles. There are 3 deeper muscles in the forearm, all innervated by anterior interosseous nerve. Anterior interosseous nerve is a deep branch of median nerve. So it is a branch of median nerve. So indirectly all these muscles are supplied by the median nerve only. So the 3 deep muscles are flexor digitorum profundus. We can see here in this picture is flexor digitorum profundus. Apart from that, we can see flexor pollicis longus, which goes to the thumb, and the last muscle is pronator quadratus. So here in this picture we can see the flexor digitorum profundus, and we can see the tendons, they go and insert into the base of or distal phalanx. So the base of the distal phalanx, it gets inserted. So we can see here it gets origin from the ulna. So it is a deeper muscle, it is not getting origin from the common flexor origin. And partly you can see it gets origin from the radius also. And it crosses the wrist joint. It crosses the metacarpophalangeal joint. And it crosses the interphalangeal joints. So these are the interphalangeal joints which are present within the fingers. And finally you can see it inserts to the base of distal, means last distal phalanx. So it gets inserted to the base of all the phalanges except to the thumb. And we can see it crosses the wrist, it helps in the flexion at the wrist. It crosses the metacarpophalangeal, so helps in the flexion of metacarpophalangeal joints. And it crosses the interphalangeal joints till the distal interphalangeal. So it helps in the flexion of the distal interphalangeal joints also. And other joints, it is also aided by flexor digitorum superficialis. The next muscle is the flexor pollicis longus. Pollicis means to the thumb. Okay, so here we can see this is the flexor pollicis longus, which gets origin from the radius, anterior part and medial part of radius, and we can see the tendon, it goes and gets inserted to the base of distal phalanx of thumb. Okay, so that is about flexor pollicis longus. Pollicis means to the thumb. When we say longus, there is a brevis also. That is the reason we are saying here pollicis. And flexor pollicis longus, it helps in the flexion of interphalangeal joints, metacarpophalangeal joints and carpometacarpal joints of the thumb. And also it crosses the wrist. We can see it crossing the wrist anteriorly. It helps in the flexion of the wrist. And as it is a deeper muscle, it is supplied by anterior interosseous nerve, which is a branch of median nerve. Next, about the pronator quadratus muscle. The name itself quadrilateral means 4 sides. So it is like a quadrilateral muscle having 4 sides, and it is present in the lower part of the radius and ulna, and its action is to pronate the forearm, and it is innervated by the anterior interosseous nerve, which is a branch of median nerve. So this is quadratus muscle. So let's talk about the nerve supply in common for all these muscles. So flexor muscles, the main nerve here is the median nerve. So the median nerve, if we see, it supplies all the superficial muscles except flexor carpi ulnaris muscle. So I will write exceptions. So except flexor carpi ulnaris, which is supplied by the ulnar nerve. And what else is supplied by the ulnar nerve is flexor digitorum profundus. So flexor digitorum profundus, it has got 2 parts, medial part and lateral part. The lateral part is supplied by the anterior interosseous nerve, which is in turn a branch of median nerve. Whereas the medial part, it is supplied by the ulnar nerve. So it is supplied by the ulnar nerve. So these 2 muscles are the exceptions in the forearm which are supplied by the ulnar nerve. The deeper muscles all are supplied by the anterior interosseous nerve. Rest all the muscles directly or indirectly they are supplied by the median nerve. So the median nerve is considered as the anterior compartment nerve, forearm, anterior compartment of forearm, and it is also called laborer's nerve because all these muscles, if we see their action, the main action is at the wrist and at the elbow and the fingers. So it is called laborman's nerve because it helps in the lifting heavy objects, doing little crude and rough movements. So that is all about the muscles present in the anterior compartment of forearm.